Welcome to the Assembly Committee on Government Affairs. Will the Secretary please call the roll?
Assemblyman Carter.
Present.
Assemblyman DeLong.
Present.
Assemblyman De Silva.
Here.
Assemblywoman Duran. Here. Assemblywoman Gonzalez.
Here.
Assemblyman Gurr.
Here.
Assemblyman Hibbets.
Here.
Assemblyman Koenig.
Here.
Assemblyman MacArthur.
Here.
Assemblyman Wynne.
Here.
Assemblywoman Taylor.
Present.
Assemblywoman Thomas.
Here.
Chair Torres.
Thank you. Welcome to the audience here in Carson City. I know we have a lot of members of the Wolf Pack here. We have many of them also sitting in the committee and some of them staffing the committee, like our committee secretary right here. And thank you and welcome to those of you joining us by video conference in Las Vegas and those listening over the internet. Just a couple housekeeping items for a reminder for the committee's members and those attending. Please make sure you silence all electronic devices. If you wish to testify, please sign in at the table by the door and provide a business card to the committee secretary. For those joining online, please be sure to mute your microphone when you are not speaking to minimize any background noise. When testifying, please turn on the microphone and clearly state your name, spell your name, and affiliation, if any, for the record. Then turn the microphone off each time you are done speaking. If you brought any handouts, please make sure you give those 20 hard copies to the committee secretary for members of the public. Electronic copies should have been submitted to the committee manager by noon yesterday for members of the committee. We expect courtesy and respect in our interactions during the meeting, even if we do not agree with another person's position. Committee members will be using their laptops to view handouts and other documents. Please do not view this as a sign of disrespect or inattention. Public comment will be taken at the end of the meeting. Each person will be limited to 2 minutes. In addition, the public may submit written testimony to the committee up to 24 hours after the hearing. At this time, we really only have one thing on the agenda, and as a proud alumni of the best university in the state of Nevada, it's okay. I also graduated from UNLV, just to give them some love too. But I'm very excited to invite the Associated Students of the University of Nevada to come and present on their role with government. Come on. And you may begin when you're ready.
Good morning, Chair Torres, members of the Assembly Government Affairs Committee. Hello, my name is Amanda Voskov, A-M-A-N-D-A, V like Victor, A-S-K-O, V like Victor for the record. I'm a political science and international affairs senior at the University of Nevada, Reno. And I'm here today with the Associated Students of the University of Nevada. That's UNR's undergraduate student population. And I'm joined with some guests who will have introduced themselves.
Good morning, committee. My name is Dion Stanfill. That's D-I-O-N-N-E, Stanfill, S-T-A-N-F-I-L-L for the record. I am a senior at the University of Nevada, Reno, studying criminal justice and communication studies with aspirations to go to law school down south at UNLV. I'm from Spring Creek, Nevada, and I have the honor of serving as the president of ASUN.
Good morning, committee. My name is Andrew Thompson, spelled A-N-D-R-E-W-T-H-O-M-P-S-O-N for the record. I am a junior studying chemical engineering at the University of Nevada, Reno, and I hold a role as the Speaker of the Senate in our student government, the Associated Students of the University of Nevada.
Amanda Voskov for the record. I serve as the Director of Government Affairs. In that role, I spearhead advocacy, student-led advocacy efforts from students at the university. And today we're here to tell you a little bit about students' role in higher education within the university community as well as the system of Nevada higher education. So we'll begin right now. And as a disclaimer, all photos, charts, or logos were created by us. Thank you. All right.
This is Dion Stanfill again. So listed and displayed on this presentation here, this is our preamble and our Constitution. This year we are actually celebrating our 125th birthday of ASUN. All that to be said, we are a very established institution and one that's here to stay.
Amanda Voskov for the record. We are over 14,000 undergraduate students. We represent them and we are them. Not only do you see student leadership in this audience today, but you see students as well. We are located in Assembly District 24, represented by Assemblywoman Sarah Peters, and Senate District 13, represented by Senator Skip Daly. But our students come from all parts of Nevada and are registered. Some are still registered to vote in other parts of Nevada, such as Clark County. So we represent a lot of students from a lot of different parts of the state of Nevada. And we are also a diverse group of students. So UNR is an emerging Hispanic serving institution. That is something that we have a lot of pride of amongst our student body. While we are still a predominantly white institution, we have a Asian population, biracial, Black and Hispanic population, as well as Indigenous and American Indian. We are also part-time students, so 25.7% of our first-year students were part-time in fall of 2021. So this means any student taking under 12 credits. And this includes a lot of non-traditional students who may have children or may just be working a job as well as going to school. As of fall 2021, we are also undocumented students. We have 414 self-reported undocumented students. I will say that this is a hugely underreported number because there are some stigmas around self-reporting as oneself as undocumented. But we have the undocupac community at UNR, so we know that it is a much larger population than that. We are also student loan borrowers. Between 2021 and 2022, we took out more than $81 million in loan disbursements from all sources among over 6,000 students. So this means the sources could have been anywhere from institutional loans to federal loans to private student loans because the cost of education can be difficult to bear. And then lastly, we are proud in-state and scholarship winner students. So between 2021 and 2022, over 8,000 students earned more than 15 million in Millennium Scholarship funds. And I personally would not be here today without the Millennium Scholarship. So that's truly a gift to us and all our in-state students here at the University of Nevada, Reno. And lastly, we are Nevada's future. A lot of us are looking to continue our study after undergraduate at the University of Nevada, Reno, or work either in Washoe County, Clark, or any other part of the state. And I know that our association has a lot of Nevada pride regardless.
Awesome. This is Dion Stanfield for the record. So diving into our three branches that break down ASUN, as the president, I have the honor of heading the executive branch. And we are democratically elected. The president, the vice president, and all of the senators are democratically elected by the undergraduate student body population. And we take that fact very seriously because we have a population of students who may not be able to vote for the Nevada representatives can vote for us as student leaders. This includes international students, students under the age of 18, or students who are undocumented. So again, we take our roles very, very seriously. As the president, I have responsibilities of setting our nearly $3 million budget, which is funded by student fees, and I know Amanda will cover a little bit of that later. I additionally have made appointments to my president's cabinet, as well as fill-in appointees for various university committees. And then the vice president, the role of that position is the liaison between Nevada athletics, as well as they deal a lot with orientation and recruitment for the university and fill in the absence of the president. And then listed below on the slide is my president's cabinet, and we have various interests for student interests. So for example, we have the director of event programming, and they plan some of our major events. This year we had a Flo Rida concert. We had Bill Nye come to our school last year. So a lot of our Nevada alum in the room are very familiar with some of those traditions that take place on our campus. Additionally, we have clubs and organizations that oversee, as well as, for example, departments of sustainability or campus wellness. All that to be said, each head of the departments that are listed here also make appointments to their own respective departments. So in total, including our internship, ASUN is also a student employer with over 100 students that we employ.
Andrew Thompson for the record. So going ahead and diving into more of my responsibility as the Speaker of the Senate, I head our legislative branch. Our legislative branch is composed of 25 elected senators by the student body, and those seats are apportioned based on the population of the colleges. So some of our more populous colleges do have more representation in our Senate. However, it is equally represented across the board based on our colleges' populations. And senators here, we have some of them sitting in the audience as well, represent their peers in a delegate manner. They are students themselves, but they also attend these classes on a regular basis and have conversations with students so that they can go ahead and they can bring their concerns and their peers' concerns to the body. The senators are able to represent student voice through legislation. Our legislation is aimed to help change the university practices, better student representation, the student government as a whole, and also benefit the surrounding community as well. Some instances of legislation that we have passed recently is SR 89-138, a resolution in support of open educational resources in course instruction. This piece of legislation aims to help and to release the burden of the financial burden that students incur in higher education, as textbook costs are often increasing. And likewise, SR 90, a resolution to divest from prison labor, was a piece that was recently passed by some of our senators who had a passion to try to move our association way away from practices that contract prison labor to be able to bind our meeting records. And this piece of legislation went ahead and was advising the university to try to do the same as well. Senators are able to gain student concern and gauge student concern and bring those to us through outreach that they conduct. And my role as the Speaker of the Senate is to bring that all together, to work closely with the President of the Associated Students, as well as the university administration, such as President Sandoval and Vice President Shannon Ellis, to be able to bring those concerns to them. And of course, as the chair for the Senate and for many committees, I can imagine and relate to agendizing and running a committee just very much like you.
Dion Stanfield for the record, and for our third branch of government is the judicial branch, and I actually have the head of the judicial branch with us today. He's to your right, the Honorable Chief Justice Taylor. He's in the audience again. And the point of the judicial branch is to keep the association honest and accountable. So last year, I also had the honor of serving as the Chief Justice, and there are 5 members within this branch, and they interpret ASUN's governing documents, including our Constitution, as well as our statutes. And we adjudicate real cases regarding executive branch violations or Senate as well. And we actually also this year just passed our Code of Ethics, which we're very excited to implement as well.
Amanda Vasco for the record. We also offer student services. So ASUN is funded by a $6.10 per hour credit fee, and that funds all the students services for students you see on this slide, with the exceptions of Pack Provisions Food Pantry. And this $6.10 fee is adjusted to the higher education price index as well. And I'll hand it off to Andrew to talk about scholarships.
Andrew Thompson for the record. So the student scholarships are most applicable to the Senate, which is why I'm going to be speaking about them today. Many of the scholarships that we've established as an association, and we have been very lucky to be able to budget our allocated money for, generally go to underrepresented students. Each scholarship that we have created typically has about 1 to 5 disbursements for each award, and students are able to apply to these scholarships each year through our financial aid office, where they help us be able to slate the students that are most needed for those scholarships. Many of the scholarships that we do offer are for non-traditional students, part-time students, transfer students, there's service scholarships, but that's only just a few of the many scholarships that we do offer, and we utilize that $6.10 per credit hour fee to be able to give back to the students.
Amanda Vasco for the record. We also have Pack Rides. Pack Rides provides daily rides to and from campus within a 2-mile radius, and we're proud to have provided over 17,000 rides between 2021 and 2022. And really, this is meant to be a campus safety measure, because we understand that students walking around campus can often feel vulnerable, and so having a student pick them up in the Pack Rides van enables them to feel safe when walking to and from campus. We have ASUN Legal Services, and this service provides informational-only legal resources to students. So how this works is that a lawyer will come in for office hours once a week, and if students are experiencing a legal problem, they can talk with that lawyer, and usually they'll provide a referral to lawyers in the Washoe community at a reduced fee. So it doesn't exactly alleviate the cost of legal processes, but it is definitely a way for students to have a start when they're experiencing some potential legal trouble. We also have Pack Provisions Food Pantry. This is the only service not funded by our $6.10 per credit hour fee. It is funded entirely by donations. So this is a student-run food pantry for the UNR community, and it provides canned and fresh foods, meats, personal hygiene items such as tampons and soap, as well as clothing and winter coats for the cold Reno winter season. And it's really meant to combat food insecurity. And this is something that we know is a problem that's connected to the collegiate lifestyle, because we surveyed over 4,000 students over 3 waves, and we found that 63% of students who reported being food insecure ever since college. We also know that 22 to 24% of these students over the survey wave were food insecure to begin with, and that the majority, their students of color, were more likely to be food insecure than white students. And Pack Provisions Food Pantry has so far been very successful, and we are on track to increase clients served by 300% since 2021. So the need for this service is definitely profound.
This is Dion Stanfield again. So thank you to Amanda and Andrew for explaining some of our services. This by no means an exclusive list. Some of the other services that we cover include the over 200 ASUN recognized clubs, and that ranges from anything such as we have a lettuce eating club, we have a Nerf gun club, we have a napping club. I know, but we also have some of the more traditional clubs such as fraternity and sorority life. And I started the powerlifting club on campus, so it's a way for students to get involved on our campus for sure. We also offer a meeting space for any student to reserve within the student union on our campus. We oversee the Nevada Wolf Shop, which sells Wolfpack gear. We have food in there as well as textbooks. We also oversee some of the student media, including Insight Magazine, Brushfire, or Wolfpack Radio, where I even know there's some students in the audience who have created their own podcasts. We also fund the undergraduate research journal, and then similarly to scholarship, we have student emergency funds that goes towards tuition or books. So our ASUN, all this to be said, is very connected with the upper administration on the university level. So my role as the president, I have frequent and regular meetings with President Brian Sandoval. The vice president of ASUN has regular meetings with the vice president, Dr. Shannon Ellis. And then Amanda, as the director of government affairs for ASUN, meets with her counterpart within upper administration, which would be Michael Flores with government relations and the upper administration team. Further, I sit on various university committees that are listed here, and I also make appointments to those university and community committees. And with our involvement within upper administration, all this to be said, ASUN has a seat at the table in making decisions on the university. And then for the Nevada System of Higher Education side of things, if you're not familiar, the Nevada Student Alliance, I have the honor of serving as the chair for this alliance, and it is a group of all of the student body presidents among all of the higher ed institutions within the state of Nevada, and we represent statewide student interests at the Nevada System of Higher Education level. We meet every month and at every quarterly Board of Regents meeting, and we are subject to Nevada open meeting law, of course, and we foster, again, just those statewide interests among the state of Nevada. And in doing so, we pass various resolutions. Last year, a great example is a resolution that was in support of a student voting member on the Board of Regents. And similar to the last side where we said that we had a seat at the table, there is no ingrained relationship. So NSA, Nevada Student Alliance, is supported by the Nevada System of Higher Education, and that our technical advisor is employed through NSHE. But all this to say, there's been frequent conversations, consistent conversations among the Nevada Student Alliance that we don't have that defined relationship where we have that seat at the table for the Nevada System of Higher Education.
Thank you so much, Dion, for that. Amanda Vasco for the record. And with that, that concludes our overview of what ASUN is, what our role is at the university level, and what our role is within the Nevada System of Higher Education. Thank you so much for your time, and happy to take any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. It's always great to have members of the Wolfpack in our committee room. I do want to remind committee members, too, that every institution does have a student body that is organized oftentimes similarly to this organization. So this is just one body, obviously, but every institution has their own student body governments that also have to be compliant with open meeting law, to my understanding, as well. So at this time, questions from the committee? Assemblywoman Thomas, and then Assemblywoman Gonzalez.
Good morning, and thank you, Madam Chair. And thank you so much for the presentation. I am so impressed with the student body. I mean, you filled the room, and this is really something that's important for you to get across to Nevada and our committee. So thank you so much for the presentation. I'm so impressed. But my question actually has to do, I believe it's slide 3, the graph that you displayed on students and the 2021 fall enrollment by race. I know that UNR is, Nevada's research institution. So my question is, when I look at the low percentage of African American students at the university, I would like to know what is the recruiting process that you, if you know this, to get more African American students into this research community as far as medical and things like that, because we know that we have a shortage of doctors here in our state. So how are you recruiting?
Thank you for the question. I'm not sure that they're the best people to answer for that. Is Mr. Flores here by any chance? No, or would she be able to answer that? I don't know
If they
I'm
can,
Rodriguez.
if not, then that's okay too. I'm sure you'll get that information to us.
They're like looking in the halls for Mr. Flores. That question, I don't want to require the students to ask a recruitment question when that's really an institution question. So if we can get that question sent over to Michael Flores, and then we'll get an answer.
Okay, we
sent
can
out.
do that. But
Yeah.
I have another one.
Perfect. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Just 1 minute. There was something that, code of ethics. How, can I ask that question? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Could you tell me the process of that?
Dion Stanfield for the record. So the Code of Ethics was actually written by a member that's in our presence today. He was the former parliamentarian for the Senate body, but now he serves as my Attorney General within the President's Cabinet. And I can't speak for him, but I think he was inspired by a public administration undergraduate course where he was learning about public administration. And many systems similar to ours and even the Nevada system of higher education follow a Code of Ethics. One thing that is unique about our Code of Ethics is that it's not enforceable. So Judicial Council, they use it as a reference document, but we can't hold students or members of our association accountable based off of breaches within the Code of Ethics. But yeah, thank you to Braden for creating that document. It just covers just like similar things to, I'm sure, the ones that are within our state.
Amanda Vasco for the record, and it's really meant to facilitate some norms of behavior amongst our student leadership to make sure we're, acting in the highest caliber that we can as our leadership. And to my understanding, Parliamentarian Toybell, now Attorney General Toybell, wrote it largely inspired by the Nevada System of Higher Education's Code of Ethics.
And thank you for that, Madam Chair. And thank you for answering that question. I do appreciate it because I think that a lot of our institutions are missing Code of Ethics. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Assemblywoman Gonzalez, then Assemblyman De Silva, then Assemblyman Nguyen, and then Assemblywoman Taylor.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Cecilia Gonzalez, Assembly District 16 for the record. Good morning. Thank you so much for that amazing presentation. I have two questions. One, when we're looking at some of the, I'm curious, what are the unique challenges that undocumented students go through on your campus? And then my other question is, under your provisions food pantry and all the success you're doing there, what are y'all doing to help students with housing? And is that an issue that has come up in your student population? Thank you.
Amanda Vasco for the record. Thank you so much for those questions. For our undocumented student population, on campus we have a community of undocumented students called UndocuPack, and in conversations with them, the biggest barrier seems to be undocumented status upon graduation. Of the 414 students that we know were in our enrolled at UNR in 2021, we know they graduate at higher rates than their citizen counterparts. So they're great students. They just find difficulty finding a job upon graduation. And I know that that's a conversation we're really wanting to have because that conversation spans beyond what I believe our student government can do. That's a lot of legal stuff that, we would love to help out with and put our support behind, but we can't do that alone. And then for PAC Provisions Food Pantry, I would definitely say housing is a huge barrier for students. Reno is, I think, the third most unaffordable city to live in, college city to live in for students. And so that's a conversation that we're having as well. And we have student emergency funds, but there's only so much we can do there as well. So that's kind of where we're hoping that student governments going forward and the Nevada Student Alliance as well can come to you all and say, hi, students are really struggling with this problem and this spans beyond what student government can do. Can we sit down and have a conversation about how to go forward with your help? And so these are the conversations that we want to begin now and foster in the years to come.
Thank you. And I do want to note to committee members, I did get a note from Mr. Michael Flores that he's watching our session and he's on a plane right now, but that he will follow up to get us the information on African American student retention and recruitment. All right, next question I have is from Assemblyman De Silva.
Thank you, Chair. And before I start with my questions, I just want to give a former student of mine. I'm a high school teacher at Rancho High School. I have Evan Robinson here in the building, who's also going to be helping me hopefully here present a bill. Hopefully, if he can make it down here later on this month. Also a former homecoming king. So he was that dude on campus. Just want to put it out there. Excellent presentation. This is so awesome seeing you all fill this room. This is inspiring. This is why we all serve. It's because of you, the future of our state, the future of our country. When it comes to the issues, that are pertaining to college in America, universities in America, young people, I mean, there's so many: access, tuition, school safety. I mean, these are real serious sort of national questions that we're asking as a country, as a state, and you all are at the epicenter of that. So my real question to you, especially you as the leaders of the student body, is it's a more basic question, but I think it's one that's very important that we get on the record, and that is, what do you think is the most difficult thing about being a college student in America today? Thank you.
Amanda Vasco for the record. And before I answer your question, we'll make sure to get Evan out there for that presentation. ASUN will make sure we can get that done because we really want our students to be engaged. But to your question about the difficulties of being a college student, I think it really, for me, comes down to, and I think this is a national trend, just the cost of education. For us, this is why we're thankful for student scholarship, but this is why we have to resort to taking out loans. And that can be a huge barrier, especially managing those loans, because, you graduate from high school, you're an 18-year-old kid, and all of a sudden you have to understand a lot of financial technical things that you never had maybe thought about before. And it's quite intimidating and scary, and, you can get into a lot of debt without knowing how you got there. And so I think student debt is a really big problem for us, and navigating that system seems to be a barrier for that I hear a lot. But I want to open that question up to Dion and Andrew to see their thoughts too.
This is Dion Stanfield. I think I share that with Amanda, just the cost of living. I'm a first-generation student, and I don't have the luxury of living at home. I'm from Elko County in Spring Creek, so the cost of living for food, for education, for housing. And then second to that, I would say, and for very, very many students, is mental health that comes with the difficulty of cost of living.
Andrew Thompson for the record, and I would like to echo many of the similar things that Dion and Amanda have mentioned today. I would say the cost of living has certainly become something that is difficult to deal with. I mean, of course, our institution and many institutions across the university do a really great job in being able to help set students up for success with career opportunities, career fairs, and whatnot. But the financial aid services, there's only so much that they can do in order for them to be able to help us. So being able to help alleviate those concerns are one of the biggest struggles that I encounter.
Thank you so much, and I think it was very important to get your voice on the record. Thank you so much, and thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Assemblyman Nguyen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am very impressed by all of you. It's just a great presentation skills, and you're all so polished. It reminds me of, I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, but 25 years ago, I was in your chair. I was student body vice president at my undergrad. Wow, 25, that's a long time. But it probably won't take you that long to get over here on this side of the chair, so I really encourage you all to take public office after this. This is amazing. My question is, open meeting law, you mentioned that earlier. Very impressed that you all are, using that. Is all of your elected leaders going through a training? Who's provided training, and do you do that for all of your elected member and appointed, or is it just the elected? And can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Andrew Thompson for the record. So yes, thank you for your question. Nevada open meeting law is certainly something that is important to our body. We want to be able to ensure that all of the students that are attending our university have equal access to be able to understand what it is that we are discussing. At the end of the day, all of us are representing their student concerns, their student voices, and our own as well. So being able to express that and to show that they have a part in that is very important to us. In terms of Nevada open meeting law training, we have an attorney general inside our association that is very well versed and And typically that training is passed down from Attorney General to Attorney General, from parliamentarian to parliamentarian. But we also do have professional staff that help advise us inside the Center for Student Engagement, where ASUN is housed at the University of Nevada, that helps assist us and gives us guidance in being able to fulfill the requirements and the duties of Nevada open meeting law.
Thank you, and back to another proud member of the Wolfpack, Assemblyman Taylor.
Thank you, Chair, and I want to start by just saying this, wow. You did an amazing job, and you represented the PAC very well. I mean, your futures are bright. The turnout, the presentation, even answering the questions. I didn't expect less, but you did an amazing job. I have a question about the resolutions. You've mentioned several resolutions. Specifically, I know there are others. Have you seen any impact from those? Do they influence policy, or what's been your history?
Andrew Thompson for the record. So we certainly have. I mean, my time in the association is limited, as of course we all have 1-year terms. And last year I was a senator for the College of Engineering. And now as the Speaker of the Senate, I have the opportunity to be able to oversee all of the senators that are drafting those legislation and those resolutions. One of the biggest challenges that we do encounter with our resolutions is that we are a recommending body. Many of the legislations that we do write are resolutions that are recommending another body or another institution or another group to be able to perform an action that we do not have the authority to do. So while we often have the ability to be able to represent that student concern, that student voice, the actuality of it and being able to get it accomplished definitely does, there are some difficulty in that. Locally in the university, we do have a lot of really great support with our administration. So whenever we do make an internal recommendation to the university, we do feel that there is adequate amount of voice at the table and being able to make that change. I don't know if Dion or Amanda would like to elaborate a little bit.
Amanda Vasco for the record. And this is something we've been actively trying to make sure that there's follow through on these things this year. When President Stanfield took office, she made sure advocacy was a big part of her administration, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. So the Nevada Student Alliance, for the first time, they got something on the Board of Regents agenda. And then this session, we're trying to work with you all to make sure that there's follow through there. Because like I said, the issues we face are profound, but the scope of what we can do to address them is very limited. So that's why we're looking forward to being in front of this body more throughout this session to make sure you're hearing from us and that we have that real impact in state government.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, Madam President, and Madam Director. Go PAC. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any questions for this committee? I think you converted Assemblyman MacArthur, and he's now a big fan of the PAC. Isn't that right, Mr. MacArthur? He went to college. He wishes he had gone to UNR. That's what I think he meant by that statement. Thank you so much for your presentation. I don't see any additional questions from members of the committee, but we do appreciate you being here. Go PAC. All right, at this time, I will go ahead and move on to public comment. So any members of the public wishing to testify in public comment may testify. You have 2 minutes. So I'll first invite anybody here in Carson City wishing to testify in public comment to come join us to testify. I knew Mr. Irvin had to get up. You may begin when you're ready.
Thank you. Kent Irvin, State President, Nevada Faculty Alliance. And first, I just have to say, wow. So I don't know that faculty could fill the room like this, even on a school holiday, or maybe especially on a school holiday. So that's just really impressive. I did want to say that all the institutions have student government. We also have faculty governance, faculty senates at each campus. Those are the internal governance organizations that operate in a similar advisory or recommending role to the institutions. And then we, as the Nevada Faculty Alliance, are the independent association of faculty outside of the institutions with our own independent voice. A question was raised about the prime concern, and what came up was cost of education and student debt. Since I prepared it for tomorrow's NSHE's budget hearing, I just want to point out some of the background of why we're in such a high cost regime for students. From fiscal year 2007 to 2022, the state appropriated funding for the 7 institutions, educational institutions at NSHE, per student full-time equivalent enrollment and in constant inflation-adjusted FY 2022 dollars decreased by 34%. Back in 2007, it was by far the biggest portion of the funding of NSHE. During that same period, resident student fees, registration fees, so state funding down 34% after inflation, student fees went up 65% beyond inflation, above inflation. And now state funding represents about half. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Irwin. We got this timer just for you. Thank you. Is there anybody else here in Carson City wishing to testify in public comment? And when you come up, just make sure you state your name and spell your name for the record. Thank you.
Well, good morning, Chair and members of the Government Affairs Committee. For the record, my name is Kevin Osorio Hernandez, KevinOsorioHernandez. So I am a first-generation college student at Nevada State College, and I am majoring in history pre-law with a minor in communications, and I serve as the current Sergeant-at-Arms at Nevada State. And so I serve also within the Nevada State Student Alliance, which is the student government at Nevada State College. As a representative of Nevada State student government, we are excited to continue building the relationship across other entry institutions like UNR's ASUN, CSN's ASCSN, and UNLV's CSUN, to serve and deliver results to the diverse student body within our state. Our institutions all face similar issues like student food insecurity and houselessness, and the shared governance between entry student governments is vital to the success of our students across the state, and we are committed to the unified belief that our efforts stimulate student equity, and as a student leader and as a community leader, I appreciate the focus that this committee has on our student governments, and we look forward to continuing building the shared governance with you all. Well, thank you, I appreciate you.
Thank you, Mr. Osorio Hernandez. It was great to have you in our committee. Is there anybody else here in Carson City wishing to testify in public comment? Is there anybody in Las Vegas wishing to testify in public comment? And BPS, is there anyone over the phone wishing to testify in public comment today?
To provide public comment, please press *9 now to take your place in the queue.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Buenos días. Hello, my name is Yvette Machado Tenier. That's Y-V-E-T-T-E, Machado, M-A-C-H-A-D-O -Tenier, T-U-I-N-I-E-R. My pronouns are she, her, and ella. I'm a first-generation college student, daughter of migrants to this great state. I am also enrolled at the College of Southern Nevada and at UNLV. I'm a first-generation college student, which means that I will be the first college degree holder in my entire family, the most educated, meaning the most privileged. This also means that I'm creating a new pathway of success and generational wealth for my 3 Nevada-born and raised babies, my future voters of this great state. My background is just as important as my title because I am representing not only myself, but I represent NSHE students. I'm also a product of CPSC in Clark County, But I'm here today as the current student body president for the College of Southern Nevada. Our student organization is called ASCSN, and I proudly represent my student government team and our roughly 30,000 student constituents statewide. This is the first role that I've had where I'm able to actively participate in civic engagement, but with the confidence I've gained from my constituents in this role, it won't be the last. I'm here because as an elected representative of one of NSHE's most developmental institutions for Nevada's communities, I wish to echo the points made today regarding shared governance among students. I come with a unified student voice and strong belief that shared governance is a factor of student equity, transparency, and collaborative efforts between Nevada's future leaders and our state representatives. Our student body takes notice and appreciates the support of our local leaders on this item. The student vote was powerful this session, and the outreach of representatives who we've elected has been a great step in a new direction. Students at CSN look forward to the collaborative efforts that students will experience statewide this legislative session. And I call on our state representatives to see us not as impressive future leaders, but as forceful current voters and your eager and collaborative partners in our state. And I thank ASUN for bringing this item forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Always good to hear from ASCSN, of which I was actually in student government. Is there another caller, BPS?
Chair, the public line is open and working, but there are no additional callers at this time.
Perfect. All right, just a reminder to the committee members, tomorrow we will have a meeting and we will be in room 4100. And we will have a presentation as well as a hearing for AB 28 and AB 33. As always, please make sure that you're prepared. And remember, we'll be in room 4100 tomorrow. Are there any additional comments or remarks from the committee members? It appears there are none. This meeting is adjourned.